Hey YouTube, coming at you to Beyond the Hype on Gastrodon to figure out one, is it better with the buff body slam and water pulse, or should you, instead of running water pulse, actually run the earth power? So Gastrodon is a very meta Pokemon for the last few seasons for a couple reasons. One, it just has a nice stat distribution, right? You got that very, very high stamina. So overall, it kind of balances out your defense stamina combo there with the lower attack, which you always like to see. And then you have Mud Boy Water Ground combo, which gives you one weakness to 5 resistances. That weakness being Grass, which is pretty much nowhere in the meta right now. Resisting Fire, Poison, Rock, Steel, Electric. But there's actually those 5 typings, which were generally bad like 3 seasons ago. A lot of them now on the up and up. So typing, fantastic. Stats, great. Has Mud Slaps, one of the best fast moves in the game. In terms of like the damage and energy combo, like you still get like a pretty good damage output, but the energy is at like an okay pace, which makes it pretty nice to like get to these charge moves. To quote sort of Mitch Hedberg, but how would he say this? Body slam used to be bad. It still is, but he used to be bad too. So it's still garbage. It's got a 5 buff damage, but it's still just not a good move. So you're almost never throwing it if you can avoid it. Water Pulse now is a 50 energy move. So it's 5 energy faster than Earth Power. Yes, the damage is lower, but the damage per energy is pretty similar, 1.92, 1.96. So the reason you are running Water Pulse is for flyer coverage, right? Earth Power, if you run Mud Slap, Body Slam, Earth Power, because Body Slam is just so bad, you're going to have nothing to throw against flyers. You'll have Body Slam, but that's essentially like a nothing move. So you're just getting killed there. But now having Water Pulse, especially when some of the waters you were seeing in the meta are now Charizard and Talonflame and stuff, really makes it a nice option for coverage. Yes, Earth Power is a nice move, and if I can only get to one move, I would like rather have Earth Power just because it's a harder hitting move. But I still think that the Water Pulse is overall a strength, because even with this is just kind of my feel of it, having played with the Water Pulse, even with the Mud Slap damage, you were almost never able to just go Mud Slap Earth Power and then Mud Slap down. Even though Mud Slap is good enough, you almost always had to throw like just a Body Slam to kind of chip it out. So if you had to throw 2 moves anyways, now having to throw 2 moves with Water Pulse is not gonna like save you a substantial amount of energy. Sorry, not save you. It's not gonna cost you more, like a substantial amount more to throw 2 Water Pulses as opposed to 1 Earth Power and 1 Body Slam. But you just add on that coverage. So I think it's valuable in that perspective. But I've seen them with Earth Power, so you can run either. This is also sort of a Beyond the Hype with Corviknight, but I've played against it enough to know. And I've played with it to know it's kind of what I thought. Like when you know the payback is resisted, like when you're against a fairy or you're against a fighter or something that resists, well, I'm fighter, but you throw air cutter anyways. But when you're against something that resists payback, like another dark or something, knowing they can go air cutter is not a good move, right? Air cutter, just the damage on this thing is, what is it, 54, right? And I just said Body Slam is garbage at 55. So imagine what an air cutter at 54 feels like. Yes, it has a 30% chance of boosting your attack. But I remember this thing boosting its attack in one of my matchups. Not when I was using it, but when I was against it, it boosted its attack, and I still had to throw like 2 or 3 more air cutters. So I just think if you have to rely on the air cutter, you're probably in a bad spot, unless the air cutter is super effective. But it's a good Pokemon. Just again, stats alone, typing alone makes it a good Pokemon. But I just think that if you're limited with the second charge move there, it's not as strong as a Pokemon. Okay, so we had a good lead, and now I'm trying to figure out what to do, because I now don't have that Earth Power. I don't have anything on Gastrodon to throw. Again, I can throw Body Slam, but it's garbage, right? At the same time, if I come Drapion, yes, Poison Sting's super effective, but the Crunch and Aqua Tail are resisted. So I kind of am stuck here, coming in here with Corviknight. I did get the attack boost on that one, 30% coming through. And Mawile comes in. I'm only going to get 1 move off, and Air Cutter is resisted, and so is Payback. I think Payback may even be double resisted, but I think the damage on that I forget if Fairy singles or double resist Dark. Either way, Payback is just such a hard-hitting move compared to Air Cutter. Even double resist, it would be a better move to throw. So I do take it out with the Mud Slap after. Out comes Gastrodon for, the Azumarill comes back in, which is fine because now, because I have chipped it enough, fine, I can go Body Slam. One Body Slam didn't take out. The second one doesn't even take out, right? Right? Oh my goodness. It was in the yellow and 2 Body Slams did not even take out. I should bait here. Yeah, it would be pretty stupid to go Water Pulse. They need to shield. This is our last Pokemon. They have 2 shields. It'd be kind of crazy not to shield. I am just trying to chip. Now I'm going Water Pulse because I've grabbed the 1 shield. I'm only going to get to 1 move before I get taken out. So take him out there. Grab that second shield or take him out. And I do take him out. If they did shield, I would have instant swapped into Drapion and just Aqua Crunched it there. Aqua Tailed it. Aqua Crunch. That'd be a funny move. Okay. Togekiss comes in. So coming in here, which is not... Aura Sphere, yeah, it's kind of a weird one, this matchup. I could have come Drapion. I maybe should have come Drapion. I don't know why I didn't come Drapion. I think my mindset was like, Peck is resisted, Psyshock and Dazzling Gleam are resisted. Yes, they can throw Aura Sphere, but it's a non-stab move, so I'd be okay. But the pacing on this thing is extremely fast, and as I mentioned, when you can't throw the Payback, Air Cutter is just not good. So they're going to probably outpace me because I was a little slow on the coming in, and they're going to get to a move here to take me out. Yeah, this is a bad play. Okay, sorry. Thirsty. You know we don't edit here. Okay. So I eventually come in with the Drapion where, I know the poison's super effective, so kind of the best case scenario there, I can get that poison off to take it out while still getting to the charge moves to use for other Pokemon here. I don't have anything for the Gyarados on Gastrodon. I mean, again, body slam there, but I'd rather just try to take it out with the Drapion, even if I need to 2 shield. I'd rather just double shield and get this crunch off to take it out and then deal with what's in the back with the Gastrodon. So I have to double shield the Gyarados. I do get the crunch off here, which will take this out. And then we'll see what's left over. I forget if I've already seen the friend Pokemon or... Oh yeah, I have seen the friend Pokemon. It is a Corsola. And this is what I'm talking about. I think this is maybe a good example of where Water Pulse works. You chip to 50%, you're going to need a second move. 1 Earth Power was not going to take out. You would have needed a second Earth Power because Body Slam would have been resisted. So now, being able to get to the charge move faster on both turns around here, you're able to take it out with double Water Pulse. So I did have a couple of those scenarios where it's like, oh yeah, Water Pulse is actually pretty helpful just because it's a little quicker there. So having learned my lesson from the last one, I'm not going to come into Corviknight here. I will just come in with the Poison Sting Aqua Tail combo. They do let it go and unfortunately met with a Mud Boy, which is not surprising. You should cover some poison weakness when you are using Togekiss. Do get the crunch off, so that's a nice chip. I assume I just let this go. It's just Aqua Tail, which they may now get a farm down, which would be brutal. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, so lost lead, lost switch. They have energy. It's going to chip. It's a Shadow Quag, so even if they just go Aqua Tail, it's still going to chip me here. Yeah. But I can't do anything about that, and they give up switch. Still, I can take definitely 1 Aura Sphere, but I don't... Yeah, I'll shield 1, and it doesn't matter which one. They're going to get to another move, probably. Yeah, I know the Aura Sphere will chip. My Gastrodon's been chipped because of that Aqua Tail, so I need to start burning some shields here. They're at another move. Let's see what I decide to do. I can take 1, so I'd be surprised if I burn 2 this early. Yeah, do take the 1. Is this a very attack heavy? I think this is a very attack heavy Togekiss because that did a lot of damage, a lot more than I expected to. So I'm going to try and snipe here. They do catch on the Quags there, so nice catch. And Toedscruel. So Toedscruel is half ground, which means this Water Pulse is neutral, whereas Earth Power would be resisted, and I'd have to go Body Slam. But now I get a nice stab move there. Both charge moves are resisted, but I am low, so I can't even take both charge moves here. So they rat me, but I'm probably going to have to shield up the next thing. Ooh, and that next thing is an Aura Sphere, so I'm going to have to definitely shield this up. And the problem on the pacing here is they're going to get to it in 10, so maybe I should have gotten a little more up than that, but I don't think it matters. Even if I go a couple more, I'd be at like 3, 4. I still need like 5 more, and they're already out of move. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. So tough, overall tough alignment on that one. Oh, wait, well, yeah, one Mud Slap would take me out. Corviknight, so I was going to say bad lead, but it's definitely one you can play out now, right? The Mud Slaps are neutral. That was fast. That was way too fast. So I know this is just a air cutter. And again, if you throw air cutter and you don't get the boost, it's not a good move. They're now going to need 3 air cutters to throw at me. So I get the water pulse off. That's nice. Going to put it within 50%. I still think that's too quick for anything but an air cutter. Now the question is, can they get to 2 air cutters before I get to 2 water pulse? What are you doing? Oh, I'm at 1 HP. That's what I'm doing. I'm at 1 HP, so I just had to throw the move, which is okay. May shield up a potential payback here. Nope, gonna let it go. Just another air cutter. So we're gonna commit to the very aggressive sand attack down here, knowing that they're throwing very quickly. So these are all just air cutters. So that's fine. Come out with some energy. Let's see what they have. Carbink. So let's start spamming some Aqua Tails here. Try to chip this. I think I remember this matchup. Okay, this is going to be a long one. So got one Aqua Tail off, and then they come in with Giratina. So I think my strategy, if I can, is to, well, now get the Giratina out and try to get some more Aqua Tails off here. So Payback is resisted on the Fairy. Air Cutter is resisted on the Rock. Let's see if I shield one. Yeah, I'm not surprised I'm shield one. I'm going to try and put some Aqua Tail pressure on these shields here. But they do have 2 shields, and I'm getting too low. So the good news is I'm going to grab the second shield with the second Aqua Tail. The bad news is for what when I have no charge moves? So Sand Attack is super effective. My thought process coming up here is Payback's resisted. I might as well just go Air Cutter to try and boost my attack. 30% chance of boosting a super effective attack. 1 Air Cutter, no boost. 2 Air Cutters, no boost. I think I threw 4 here, no boost and any of them. So that's my second one. I'll have to shield up a move. So here comes the 3rd Air Cutter. Am I going to go? Yeah, I debated Payback because I was just like pissed at this point. I know it's only 30% chance, so like statistically probably should not have hit it after 2. 3, we're getting pretty close, so I should have hit it. 4, I feel like I should have hit it after 4, but I do not hit it. So luckily these sand attacks have done their job, and although Air Cutter is garbage and resisted 4 times throwing it, was able to chip enough. Brutal. Okay, Drapion's coming in just because Confusion is resisted here, and Confusion is resisted on Corviknight, so I figured we got 2 better answers in the back. I didn't need to leave. It's not like this is an ABB style team. It's not like Gastrodon has a bad matchup. I could have stayed in there and thrown Water Pulse and just saw what happened with these punches, maybe a Shadow Ball. But I just felt like I have 2 better answers in the back. One thing I did not talk about yet, and I'll talk about it, I don't know when that video is going to go up. Maybe tomorrow, because I think I'm going to double up videos on the weekend here. The 45-second timer does change things. And I noticed that when I was playing the Jirachi. And again, not that it was Jirachi that in particular that I was jumping around with. But it was on that team that I used that I just was like one matchup, just like I'm going to jump around a lot and see what I can do here. And you can really cause problems for your opponent by jumping around a ton. And then if they're delayed in their switches, you can desync so quickly that can really cause your opponents problems. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. I'll talk about that more. I'll talk about that more on Monday, maybe in the Jirachi matchup when I did the jumping around, but also I will talk about it when we do. I'm going to do a 1 weekend meta review. I do that every time. So 1 weekend meta review to look at what the state of the meta is, what I think is going to be the meta, overrated, underrated, very strong Pokemon, stuff like that. But unfortunately, I banked almost 2 Aqua Tails for nothing here because I get taken out with 1 move. I do get the Air Cutter off here, which will take out. But unfortunately, the Hypno still has a little too much health left to Sand Attack down. Okay, great lead. They're going to have to get out. Let's see what they come in with. They come in with Pharaoh. So I'm coming in Corviknight. Every move is resisted here. Peck, Drill Run, all resisted. So I can take that with ease. I went Payback here because I'm like, I know Pharaoh's a little glassy. Maybe a Payback will take it out. It does not. It leaves it with a couple HP. I'm running Sand Attack on a Flyer. That's not going to be good enough. I'm probably going to have to throw an Air Cutter. So had I known that, I think the move is double Air Cutter. Try and get that boost. Maybe the second one takes it out. If it doesn't, then you just go like either triple Air Cutter or Air Cutter Payback combo. But yeah, that wasn't the right play. But in the end, keep switch. Sand Attacks are doing double super effective, but again, they're not doing a ton, but they're chipping a little bit. We'll take that. Payback lands. Not surprising. They're just going to sacrifice this and try and run with whatever's in the back. And what is in the back? Marowak. So, not what we want to see because it's going to destroy our Drapion. So I'm definitely staying in this matchup for a bit. I'm going to have to... I think I'm probably going to throw some charge moves just to try and burn that shield and then instant swap into the Drapion. Just going Body Slam here. If I grab a shield, I'll probably instant swap into Drapion. But if I don't grab a shield, I think I now just need to play this out. Yeah. I mean, I'm at a Water Pulse. So I'm going to put pressure on the second shield. Not what I wanted to be in, but I don't think coming in Drapion into a Mud Slap user where poison is resisted is the best option. So I think, unfortunately, just taking it out is okay. Knowing that I've already chipped it to 50% health. Hopefully 2 Aqua Tails are enough to take this out. You're definitely going to live 1 Stone Edge. So as long as 2 is enough to take out here, you're going to win because you'll live 1. I don't know. It'd be probably tough to get to 3 because these smackdowns are buffed and they would probably get to another, like smack you down. But 2 Aqua Tails is enough to take this, what's left of this Bastiodon out. Gastrodon into Steelix. Okay, another good lead. And they get out into Goodra. So too slow. And you can't do that. You can't do that, especially with a move that is different now. They have Thunder Punch. Yes, Steel resist Dragon, but I was too slow on the switch. So now they're spamming these Thunder Punches, which are super effective. And 2, because Dragon Breath has changed, these Thunder Punches actually come quick. So I just go Air Cutter there. Does not grab a shield or take it out. So now I'm going to throw this one. If I don't take this out, like the shield, and they're going to take me out, I assume my attack rose. I assume I still let go and come in. Yeah, okay. I got the attack rise, and then I was like, all bets are off now. Yeah, okay. When you get the attack rise, and Steelix comes in, and you want to keep alignment on the Gastrodon. Sand Attack's super effective. You're still chipping with a hard-hitting move that is buffed. I guess it makes sense to keep switch. You don't know what's in the back yet. And it's a Wiggly, so just going to Water Pulse quickly. Again, you have the option now. Quicker move to get to. And if they shield, does not matter. We just need to try to chip here before. So nice to be able to time without having a 1-turn leg. I timed 8 versus 9, 4 fast moves. That's what you want to do. If this was last season, it would have been 9 on 9 because of the 1-turn leg, and they would have a full charm through. But this game seems to be working okay now, which is nice. I have noticed that the 1-turn leg seems to be fixed. Not 100% of the time. Oh, my opponent like legs out here. Although I had a Gastrodon on the front, so it's fine. It's not 100% of the time. I did get leg, but I think the leg I had was like maybe more like internet connection as opposed to the game's just constantly in a state of screw up. As you can see, my opponent there has a Pokemon regional winner. Is this Rise? Yeah, this is Rise. Okay, so this is Rise. For those of you who do not know, Rise to the occasion as a 3-time regional winner, 4-time regional winner. How many times has he won regionals? Once every play Pokemon year and multiple in one. So he's maybe a 4-time. He's a 3 or 4-time regional play Pokemon regional champion. One of the top players in the world. One of the top, arguably, I don't know. It's so. I was gonna say he's a top 10 player. But it's so weird with these top players. It's just there's 50 to 100, and I think I remember watching one of the Play Pokemon interviews of someone, and he basically said, "I know I'm good enough that on any given day I can beat someone." But I feel like there's 75 to 100 players that could probably fit that category. Now Rise and Dunebug and those others are probably, and Accent are probably a little higher on that list. But yeah, Rise is definitely up there. Anyways, all that to say, I am going to get killed here. He jumped around and took advantage of the jumping around here, right? He's catching all over the place. He's not getting switch lock because I'm too slow on my moves here. So I'm just getting significantly outplayed. It was just I think I made the joke on one of my posts, be like, "Yo, Niantic, you remember when I didn't hit Legend this last season? Why you matched me up against one of the top players in the world? Please don't." Okay. Galvantula. X-Scissor is neutral. Lunge, X-Scissor are both. I forget what move it had, but yeah, it's neutral. So I just had to shield it up because Galvantula hits very hard. Do grab a shield because it is glassy. So even though my attack was lowered and they want to get to another move, their timing has been off. So I've definitely gotten a couple mudslaps through that I should not have, which is allowing me to get to a move with ease here and a little bit of health, which I probably should not have. Whiscash comes in. My attack is lowered by 2, so I doubt that the Whiscash has any concern about this move. Yeah, not surprising. I just can't leave here. I have to keep alignment with Corviknight because Drapion just has a bad matchup. I think I let this go and I get hit with a Blizzard, if I remember this. Yeah, there's a Blizzard that does a lot of damage, and it's a Reggie in the back. So getting to a payback. And I didn't try to CMP here, but I remember CMPing, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Oh, no, I didn't CMP. There's a couple times in these matchups over the next few videos where I was over farming for no reason, and then I lose CMP tie when I should have grabbed a shield. I do what I tell you guys not to do. Don't let your fast move timing and your counting and all that stuff get in the way of getting a friggin' move off before your opponent gets a second move off, right? So I've made that mistake too many times, unfortunately. Whiscash comes back in, just going air cutter, hoping it's gonna grab a shield, but I'm not even out of payback, so they don't need to shield this. They do not. I do get the attack rise. This 30% is a weird one, right? We saw against the Carbink where it did not happen. And I have gone against one. I have gone against a Corviknight where it landed it 3 times in a row. 3 air cutters, 3 boosted attacks. I hate Pokemon like this. I hate Pokemon that are somewhat reliant on the move being buffed. And I just hate how much these buffs can absolutely change a game. It's the same. I don't know if I would have won that had I not buffed that sand attack. I hate moves that are focused on that are bad moves, but if they boost, you're in a good position. I never like those moves, but that's the way we are with the #1 ranked Pokemon here. Okay, so Corviknight. I think I talked about Corviknight more than Gastrodon, but I think Gastrodon, like I said, I think it is an improvement. Obviously, Body Slam is better, but it's still terrible. But I think the Water Pulse, just for getting to the move quicker and still being able to combo 2 of those moves with the Mud Slaps, I think it just makes it valuable. Plus, again, there's like no grass in this meta. Obviously, there's some grass. There's not no grass, but the amount of grass Pokemon is like 5, quite honestly. You have like, let me just do a quick search of grass. Credilli, which is also half rock, so you'd actually hit neutral there. Toadscroll would be tough, although Toadscroll you now hit neutral with Water Pulse, so that's nice. And then you're into number 100 at Shadow Vic, Abomasnow, Dartrix, Trevenant. I actually saw Trevenant today. So yeah, people are trying to figure out what grass, because again, there's a lot of water, a lot of ground. And just grass has a lot of play. Grass has a lot of good neutral play, like electric. It resists electric. But, you know, unfortunately, with the poisons buffed, with some flyers buffed this season, with all the steals coming out, like Corviknights everywhere, I expect Scizor to show up a bunch more once we like get into like week 4 and Great League comes back for the next time. I expect, like, again, this week, for those of you who are newer to this channel, this week we are just testing all these Pokemon. I don't even care what my win rate record. I think I'm at like 62 to 63%. I think I've done like 100 battles. I'm at like 62 wins, 63 wins. I don't really care what my win rate is. I don't really care if I'm making mistakes. I don't care if I'm not playing how I should be playing. I just want to see how these Pokemon feel. I want to know what their strengths and weaknesses are. I want to know how much these moves can do. I want to know all these different scenarios. So that is what we test out during this week. So I suggest you do that as well. I think it's very helpful that you know all this stuff, so that when you actually do want to grind your ELO later in the season, you actually know how to use these Pokemon and their strengths and weaknesses. But if you don't want to, that's what I'm here for. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.